take the right photo. I'm having a little difficulty here starting this video. I have trouble starting out of videos, you know that? Maybe I should try this again. Good morning, Tyler. If I open this up, that makes it go that way. Maybe if I turn this, that's the There we go. Okay, good morning. Is that Suze? Good morning, Suze and Tyler. Okay. There. Okay, hello. That was a lot of work. This has been a great day so far. What time is it here? It's 9:15. I got up at 6:30. The sun was, the horizon was orange. So 7 o'clock sunrise, 7 o'clock sunset now, because we're right at the equinox. It would be 6 o'clock and 6 o'clock, like it is all the time at the equator, but we have daylight savings time or something standard. I don't know what's what, but anyway, it's the wrong one. So that said, I filled up the feeders, but the first thing I did, I took my long clippers, the orange-handled long, tall grass cutter clippers, and I went down to the 2 garden beds on the side of the moat. They're in boxes. There's 4 of them, I think, 5 of them. Anyway, I did 2 of them. The grass was so high you couldn't see that there was a bed there at all. So the grass is about this high, and then it may have a big a seed head, not just a little bit of seed. I don't think there's any seeds left on it, just a big spike at the top, but it was a seed head. So I cut them, and I take the clippers and I move them into the tall grass, and I go clip, clip, and I come back out, and I go in until it stops, clip, clip, I keep clip, I go until it won't go anymore, and then I cut it, and then I go till it won't go anymore, and I cut it. And so I do that all the way along, and then as I'm doing it, I push everything back a bit, and then I do the next row underneath it, and then I push it back, and I do the next row underneath it, and I push it back, and the next row underneath it, and then I push it back. And then when I'm tired of this motion, then I lean to the side, and I take my hands like this, and just the friction of my hand will pull all the loose ones, and I can just do this and wipe it, and the loose ones will come away because they're on this side. Sometimes the tops are all tangled, but if you do this and you go all the way around where you've been cutting, and I usually end up cutting in a circle around myself and then making it bigger. And so you wipe your hand the whole time around it, and then you wipe it and you lean it up against yourself, and then you gather it up, and now you've got all the ends this way. So you gather it up and you walk to the back of the car and put it in. And now the back of my car is full to the top. It's a 4x4 back, and it's full of grass that I've packed down. That might be enough grass to finish the teepee, I hope. Maybe not. If it's not, it would make a very thick. I don't want to thin it. Sometimes, in my life, as a mother on limited funds, raised 5 children. My daughter pointed out that there was only 4 children that lived together most of the time. Well, that was afterwards, right? And we had 10 years between them. Anyway, but I remember those years, having kids everywhere. I was thinking about that last night, you know, having Daniel and Abraham would be over on the couch wrestling or arguing or pushing each other and yelling and crying. And then Ben would be in the other room yelling at them to be quiet. And then Elida would be up in her room quiet. She'd have her music on or whatever she did. She was always, you never heard her. And she also had access to the windows onto the roof. So it was quite frequent that the neighbor, the little boy next door would come over and he would come over and visit her and she'd come and sit out on the rooftop with him. Oh my gosh, those were the days. And so then there was Lida, Daniel, Abraham, Virginia, and Ben. Yeah, and so Virginia, she moved out when she was young. She moved to live with her dad. She wasn't here for quite a while. And I think she might have been 16 when she moved out. But I had my other children at the time would have been 14, 6, 4, and 2. So it was a very busy time for me. 16, no, 14. Yeah, he would have been, I don't know what they just said, but 14, 6, 4, and 2. And the 14-year-old doesn't like noise. And the 2 and the 4-year-old, well, the 4 and the 6-year-old, yeah, we didn't live here at that time. We didn't live here until Abraham was 3, and Daniel was 5, and Elida was 7, and Ben was 15, and Virginia was 17, so she was gone. You know, I had to escape when I had children all those ages. Like, as soon as Willem was there, I was like, or, you know, Ben was 15, so I could say, Ben, can you watch him? And then I'd sneak out, and I'd go to the dam, and I'd go exploring in the woods, and I would write stories about the beavers. And then Abraham would want to come, and he would, and so sometimes he would come with me. But sometimes I just needed a break. It was like, Mommy, 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 and I just like, you can't come, you can't come. Well, I wouldn't give to have him want me now like that. You know, the way that we know that each other, the way that we show love, there's 5 ways of showing love. And when you feel loved, you feel loved when you are, when one of those 5 ways is is aimed towards you. So that was not very clear, was it? Anyway, so there's 5 ways of showing love, and the way that we give love is also the way that we know we are loved when we receive it the same way. So here we go. So one is affirmations. Like, my mother really gave me a lot of affirmations, and I knew I was beloved. I knew I was smart, knew I was beautiful. I mean, she drilled those things into me. I mean, she was so affirming. You can do anything you want. Meanwhile, I had ADHD and I couldn't focus, and so I was a mess, and I was usually in trouble and got to know the inside of the principal's office really well. One year, my class had a room in grade 4. It had a door into the principal's office from my classroom. I did really badly that year. That year, I was a real problem child. When I was 3, I don't think I was so bad. I picked on this little boy in the class. And I was always raising my hand, and I was in the hall a lot, I think. No, I don't think I got sent to the hall very much in that year, because I was new. But I don't know. I had come from New Jersey to Georgia, and let me tell you, culture shock, oh my word. New Jersey and Georgia were just a world apart. In New Jersey, I was a Yankee as far as the Georgia people were concerned. I was a Yankee in the North. When I came to Canada, I worked for a little while at Campbell's Soup Company in Listowel, and I was mocked for being an American. I was called a Yankee. So there's three cultures here that I dealt with in my life. Four, because I lived in Arizona for a while. That was really nice. I loved Arizona. Always sunshine. Oh my gosh, for a person with SAD, Arizona was just like heaven. And Jamaica, too. Jamaica was amazing. That was another culture. That's where I learned to love my grass huts. I lived in one. And you know, you're retired. You don't have any children to take care of. You're free. You don't have to go to work. Do you want to have a grass hut? Would you like to build yourself a grass hut? Maybe it won't work. Maybe all the branches will fall down. Well, that's wisdom bit one. You know, now you learn that this kind of material, like I'm seeing that down there now. I've got almost all of my creations are collapsing. I'm really amazed. Like I had this alder frame and it was Christmas trees on it and it was so wonderful. It smelled like balsam and Fraser fir and white spruce. I mean, these were smells that were Christmas, and there was like, I don't know, 40 or 50 of these trees on this structure. But then the structure started to sag. It was alder. Now, alder is a very bendable material, but it is not long lasting. And when you put weight on it, it'll just crumble. And you see that in the alder bushes. When you're working with the alders, sometimes you want this long alder and you cut it down, a long skinny one, and you can use that and you can make it into an arch or something, or you can just bend the two branches down together and work with them. I've learned that if you try and bend the tips, like from that end, they will break. So don't even bother that when they're doing it, when they're growing. I wonder if I could play that note on the violin. La 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 la. La 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 la. I don't think I'm singing the same note he's singing. I know I'm trying to go the same. La 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 la. You know, most birds when they sing, the pitch changes, but the notes don't really. I think that's how it goes. Like the one that sounds like a flute. How does that go? That's the hermit thrush. Eole. Yeah, so that one does change notes, doesn't it? Eole. Very. Are those notes or is the tone the same? It's just at a different. I don't know. I don't know. That you got me there. I don't know a lot of music. Don't know a lot of math. But I can make a basket. And they're pretty good, you know. I'm realizing that I've been, you know, a lot of them do look pretty crummy. They, you know, I really expect myself to fail. Do you realize that? Isn't that interesting? I expect it to fail. And yet I try, and they don't turn out perfect shape. You You know, I expect myself to fail. Because from my history, I do fail. The difference is that I try again. So it's okay to fail. So all these that I built with alders, I mean, I knew this from the beginning of Sedge Meadow Teepee 25 years ago, or whatever it was, 23 years ago or something. When I built that teepee, the first thing I did was weave it with alders. I cut down really tall, straight alders, and I wove it with them. And so the whole thing was a basket, you know. But then the next year, all of them slipped, and they fell, and so it was not up to the top anymore. It was just part way up, and then they started getting lopsided as different ones would break and fall. And eventually, I removed them all. Boy, those were the early days, you know. I put a hi. You're gonna go and put my grass down at the teepee?
Yeah.
Yay. Okay. Get out of your way. Oops.
Okay, so I guess I'll take your car.
Yes, and the keys are in it. Isn't that special?
Okay, and then I guess I'll have to walk upstairs.
No, you just drive it down, remove all the grass, and drive home.
Okay. Fair enough.
Thank you, William.
Okay, I'll just take my pouch, and
Okay.
my wallet, my card.
Okay then.
And
Well, I'm having a lovely visit with you. I hope you're having a lovely visit with me. Where did it go? I have something in this pocket I want. And it's not there. And I took it out. Did I take it out? Humph. It's a washer. Look. I have a plantain chip. That's what I was doing last time I was spinning. I'm having a delightful time spinning. I've made 3 balls of yarn now. Thank you, Lily. Is everybody still fine, or do you all miss me terribly? Is everybody still fine? Okay. They didn't miss me terribly. They have gotten to that age now. I remember how wonderful it felt when my kids got to this age, where they really didn't matter exactly where I was. They knew I was somewhere about. I had to be pretty close when I was the only one here. Hello, hello. Okay. I love your manners. You say thank you and no thank you and please a lot. There goes my big 4x4 bundle of grass. I'm working on the teepee. Yesterday I got it all the way up. It's been 2 days all day with Willem helping me. I needed him to carry the grass. I would cut the grass and he would carry it, and I would go up the ladder and I would place it. And I placed it, you know, the butt side up, always butt side up. I would place it against the teepee like that, and then I'd do that all around, and I'd have the ladder, right? I was going up the ladder, and then I'd place another layer here, and now it's getting a little narrower, right? And I place, well, it didn't get narrow. It's a big teepee. It doesn't get narrow like that, but so I would keep layering it, and I would back up and I would layer it. And I went all the way to the top, and it is really dark in the teepee now. And it is very wet. Like there's no puddles, but the ground is really saturated. You know, I was thinking, I have a lot of clay, pottery clay. What if I put down pottery clay everywhere and let it absorb it? And just keep layering it and layer it and layer it and layer it. And then when it hardens, you know, step on it everywhere and get it down into the mud. And then keep doing that like it's not mud. There were 10 inches of leaves, which have now compressed. So you've got this really mushy leaves. And underneath it is wood. But what if I were to but the wood is so low, I needed to build it up to make sure it stayed dry. So if I put down the pottery clay, like making brick, and walked it into that, now it's not mud, it's, it's peat, but peat is ground up grass. You know, like how you make bricks. You take earth and straw. So what if I made a brick floor in there? I could continue to do it. I could I could put a good layer of clay in there, and as I mash it in, it's going to really absorb the water, and it's going to be black and white, right? Black and get brown, black and off-white brown. And they're going to blend together, and that might be like making cob. I did it everywhere. As it eventually it will dry because it's absorbing all that water. And when it dries, it will be a hard mat, and it will crack, and it will mess up, but it will be really an organic floor. It'd be kind of neat to have a clay floor in there, you know, like, and then you would put straw on it, and that would be like in the olden days when you had a dirt floor, you know, being dirt poor. You have a dirt floor, and then you take straw and you put it on your dirt floor. Well, some people would just have the dirt floor. Like in the grass hut in Jamaica, it was a dirt floor. And I was supposed to sweep it. That was my job. I was supposed to sweep the floor. Isn't that ridiculous? Anyway, I don't sweep the floor. But I made a broom. I made a broom out of sticks, and I bundled it together on another stick. Or maybe we already had one. I think he already had one there. Isn't that interesting? Anyway, and so I knew how to make a broom after that. And I did. I made brooms. Well, I think I learned it from somebody here. They gave a workshop, and everybody made brooms. And what you did was you gather up a bunch of sticks, little thin sticks, little tiny trees that only grow that high, little bush branches of bushes, and you kind of line them all up, and then you take a stick, you put the stick in the middle of them, and then you have a rope tied around a branch and coming down, and here at the bottom you have a slip knot. So you open the slip knot, you stick the ends in where they're the broom and you stick it in, and then you hold on both sides of the rope, which is now going to get tighter and tighter as you push it down. So you push it down as far as you can, and then you are ready with, so before you start pushing it down, you take a rope, and your rope comes up along the branches and the broom handle, comes up and it goes back, but there's a long tail here hanging out. Okay, so you hold it here on top of the tail, and you hold it here and you push it down, and when you get it down far enough, you pull your rope and you wrap your rope around it, and you're leaving your loop showing. So you wrap it around and around and around and around and around and around and around, and you're pushing really tightly and hard. And then you stick your rope through your loop, get the rope in there, and then you hold it tightly still, You take the long tail, and you pull the tail. Now your big loop has just shrunk right around the first time it went, or the last time it went around. So you've got a perfect beginning, and you've got a broom. That's how you make your broom. But now you've got it wrapped. You lift it up, which loosens the slip knot. Lift it up and pull it out. And there you are, ready to sweep your dirt floor. I'm going to do that. I'm going to move clay down there. I wonder if Joanne has any clay to get rid of. If she has clay to get rid of, I wonder what's under the deck. It's all dry. It's powdered. It's all of the bits. When she's a potter, and when she would cut the pottery, trim it. There's all these bits of trimmings, and they dry out, and you can just put them all in water and reconstitute them, which is what I do to make my clay. I wonder if we should use her clay at the schoolhouse. If we were in the pottery studio, I was thinking of joining up in the pottery studio again. And we have to buy clay, and everybody has to have the same clay. But you know what? Joanne's clay is a certain recipe, which is always the same. It never varies. And it's a 6. There's a 6, there's 9. You have to heat it to cone 6 or heat it to cone 9. And, I have my kiln down here almost full, and yet I haven't run it. I have to be ready to spend an entire day babysitting the kiln, because I've never used the kiln inside the studio before, so I don't dare go away. I don't know what to expect, but really what I need is for Joanne to come and help me. If I asked her, I bet she would come. Yeah, that's a really good idea. Probably after Thanksgiving. She's probably working very hard for the Thanksgiving time. I think they're on a studio tour that time, but I'm not really sure. There's a nice little squirrel there. Little squirrel, he's in the light, and he really looks soft and wonderful. I was sitting there behind the teepee today. Now, I told you I've got the grass coming all the way, or hanging all the way, hanging like this, all the way layered up the teepee, except the front is still not done. But I did do above the door. I was able to do from there. And now I'm on the other side, and I'm going to do above, to the door on that side. It's a little bit further. But I think, I'm not sure if I can reach it all. I can stand, it's a garden bed at the base, so I can stand in the garden bed and walk along. And I can go all the way to the side of the door. So I can do the bottom layer, maybe the next layer. But then I have to, when it's too high to reach, I have to go up the ladder. But by then, it should be high enough that it won't be as far to reach. Because, the whole thing comes to one point. Willem is down there right now emptying all the grass. He's putting it in the pile beside the ladder. So the place that I'm going to go work is where all that grass is going to be. That's a lot of grass. And I may have enough to finish the teepee. And what a wonderful blessing this has been. I mean, here I am, retired. I've always kind of been retired since my kids moved out. But I can do what I want. And I wanted to try a grass hut. I wanted to try thatching is what I tried. I wanted to try to fetch with my grass. And so I took a stick and I took sedge grass and I folded them over. Then you make a knot on the pole, and then you go across your handful, and then you go between the front and the back, and you pull it up, and then you put your next bundle in. And now the front of this bundle and the back of the last bundle, so the last bundle's at a bit of an angle, so this bundle is going to be at a bit of an angle too. So your back one is there, and you put your front one in, and now you're going to start with your rope, and you come across those, and then you go across all the front, and then all of the back, and then you come in halfway between the two. I think that's how it works. You come in halfway behind the back, or maybe behind, I don't remember now. Maybe that's why I haven't tried to do it lately. It's too difficult. But I think I would figure it out if I tried, right? Yeah, the first one, I think, yeah, you start here and you go around the front to the back, and now you've gone, that's all the way around once. And then do you put it between them and come up? Or between half, the first time you have to go between, you're going to have to connect it to the whole front and the whole back. Plus you've already got the last back. I think that's how it works. Hello, people. Wow, do you need me? No, what are you up to? Oh, you're into the picnic basket. You guys are so sweet. Do you want to swing on the swings? Do you want to swing on the swings? You're going to do battle together? Have fun. What are you? Which are you on? Pokemon or Minecraft? Okay. They have fun together. So nice. Such nice people. So you know what? The very first time since 25 years, I saw a bird drinking out of that water feeder. A bird bath. A water feeder. Well, that's what it looks like. To me, it's a water feeder. I guess it's a bird feeder, but you're not feeding them food, you're feeding them water. So you couldn't say a bird waterer. So it's nicer to say a bird bath. Oh yeah, it's because they get in and take a bath sometimes. But it's supposed to be like a water fountain. But a water puddle, a water pool. Who are you and why are you chirping so much? Oh, you're Harry. Hi, Harry. You don't want to come when I'm talking? Is that what's going on? You don't want to come eat. You do want to talk. I like my birds. Oh, so I was going to use I wonder if I put it in these pants. I was going to use something. Well, hold on. Here, you can watch the birds. I gotta go and check. Find it. I'm back. So what's been happening out here? A lot going on? Let's see if I can talk to you again. Oh, look, you're still there. Okay, what have we got? Where's our morning prayer? Good point. Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this new day. It's a Saturday, and we're so grateful for this day. And thank you for giving us sunshine and a little break from the rain. And please bless those that are getting hammered in Nova Scotia and Cape Breton. And bless all those people in the world that are in need of my blessings. People that are in floods and waving and hoping someone will come and rescue them from the rooftops. There's people going through all kinds of things right now. There's all sorts of things happening in the world, and we're so grateful for our safety, and like to bless us that we will always be safe, and bless those that are not safe, that they be safe. And I know that some of the things that we go through, we need to go through. They're for our development. But Heavenly Father, sometimes they seem really rotten. And please help us to be able to be supported when we lean on Thee. And thank you for helping us so much and for giving us everything we have. We're grateful for, where do you start? There's everything. Everything that we have is from Thee. Every single thing we see, everything we own, all gifts are Thine. Please bless us that we will be able to hear Thee and we will be able to serve Thee as is fitting. Thank you so much for all that Thou dost. So much for all the angels that are out here and that watch over us and keep bad things from happening or give us whatever it is angels do for us, minister unto us. Please help us to have soft hearts and never to harden our heart against Thee or the commandments. Bless us that we will be able to experience many, many beautiful things in our lives and help us to notice when we are experiencing them. And thank you for taking the time to listen to us when we pray. And these things we pray in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. That's Harry. He's here again. It's so beautiful. Let me show it to you. I've got 4 feeders right together. 3 are sunflower seeds, and 1 is, no. Are they all sunflower seeds? Yes, they are. And 1 is a suet thing. Hi, Harry. Sorry, didn't mean to bother you. Can I show you that this stuff is going on here? Watch, see what happens. Okay. It's hard to be patient sometimes. It's hard to just sit here patiently and wait for the birds to come. Especially when you're making a video of it. I get anxious. I shouldn't be doing that. So what I am going to make roving from here. Yeah, I said that for the title. Boy, that was a long time ago. What time was that? 40 minutes ago. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I make roving, but you're not supposed to be looking way over there. Okay, so the way you do it is you take a roll lag, which you've carded, and is now in a nice little roll. And you stick some through a washer. And then you just keep pulling it through the washer. And when it gets tight, as soon as it gets tight, you have to stop and pull this away until it's just enough that it'll come through. So you go down to as far as it goes. The trouble with wearing this wonderful orange shirt is that the bees think it's a flower. Pretty big flower, big flat flower. So this is how you make roving. And now with this roving, want to know what I can do? I'm going to show you. I can take this now. If I twist it around a little bit, then it's gonna stay together. It's not gonna get tangled up with the next stuff. Oh, that's Willem coming back. So now I can put this here. I can even hook it there, and I can put it through my loom. Yay! I've learned to do something. This is wonderful. Okay, where's my washer? So I'm going to take another roll lag and I'm going to do the same thing. Pretty soon I'm going to be able to work on my loom using these and put them through the warp. Hello, my darling.
Hey, so you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I guess we'll better go around.
Do you want to go through here? Do you want to sit down with me?
Sure.
You can get those cushions for it, or is that too much trouble now? And then I move this one to this one. I'm learning how to do something that's going to be very, very useful when I'm weaving on the loom. I'm learning how to make stuff.
Kind of like a thread almost.
Yeah.
And you just twist it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm learning.
Nice.
And I'm learning how to make these. So now I have that far. If I can do this, this is like professional stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So how'd it go down there?
Good. It took me about 11 trips. The last two were
11 trips?
The last two were small, which is gathering of a few things that were dropped down there.
Wow, 11.
It's a lot, yeah, you've got a lot there to work with.
Wow, and that was just from around those 2 garden beds by the moat.
I believe it, there was a lot of grass there.
There's a lot. I have a whole lot more I can harvest too.
Okay then, so I think we'll start with some wood.
Okay.
Depending on how dry the wood is, I think it's pretty dry by now.
So can I go down there and work on my teepee?
Yeah, sure.
You'll be here with the kids?
Yeah. So
I'll ask them. I'll make sure they don't mind.
Yeah. And I'll just be as long as I do the wood, I just try to be around the house so they can easily go here and call me.
Yeah, they don't seem to care that I'm here. Yeah. Every time I talk to them, they look at me like, "Why are you speaking to me?" Like they really are not interested in me at all.
Yeah.
Which is very unusual because they used to really like me.
Yeah. So, anyways, the wood. So I'll finish that row till it's all done, and there's probably a little bit of wood left over. And what shall I do with it? I would suggest to stack it somewhere on the deck between 2 pillars, either on the shady deck or with the other deck.
I would say to stack it at the corner of the house of the shady deck and out, and leave a pathway for the. Never mind, that's not a good idea.
No,
Okay, between two pillars. Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
between two
go
pillars.
ahead.
And then it'll not be completely dry. It will be, but then again,
Between the middle two pillars, and then it will protect the.
protect. Yeah, there's not going to be a lot left, but I'm not sure how high it's get. Anyway, we'll see.
Yeah, do it just at the edge of under the
And
pillar.
then leave a path to that corner there, so that you can go down the steps.
Right. Okay.
And yeah.
Yeah. Well, you could make a wall between those two, and then I wouldn't have to like put the plastic there like I did
No, there's not enough
last year.
wood left for that.
Oh, okay.
It's only a little bit left.
That pile.
Yeah, the lead pile, and some of it is going there.
Oh, I
to
see.
complete
Okay. Yeah. So it'll be
Uh,
like it was when it was a low pile that went from here to the
yeah,
wall.
something like that. Yeah, that's a low pile.
That's really good. So we must have about what 13 cords then.
How many did we order? 10.
Yeah, this was 10, and we already had some left.
We had almost half a shed. So yeah, maybe 3. Yeah, maybe 13. Yeah, but we probably used 10 at least. Yeah, 10 or 11. Something like.
And it's nice to have them because we can have them for the campfire.
Yeah.
You could leave a little stack by the campfire there.
Yeah, but it could, I suppose, but it's gonna be wet and covered by snow soon, you know.
You could take a load down to the teepee, so that'll be there for winter.
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be very helpful.
And have a campfire there rather than here.
Yeah, because the snow it won't work very well.
Can I use those? Okay, yeah, I guess so.
You're wanting my bricks?
Yeah, I was gonna say I was gonna have this little heap. They're gonna have tarps on the heap and the bricks to hold it down. But I think if we stick it there, there's probably nothing left. So I guess that's not necessary. But it's probably good to put the bricks to the side so that they can snow blow there without running into trouble getting over it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can move them all before the snow flies.
Yeah.
I'd like to also move all the wood so we can easily get in and out of that box. And so it tidies it up. I mean, it does make privacy, but it's such a mess.
Yeah, it is a mess.
And I've decided that the grapes, I mean, this year they had wonderful grapes on them.
Yeah.
But the raccoons ate them all.
Right.
So how many years am I gonna baby these grapes and get nothing?
Right.
So I think it's time to just cut the whole thing off, cut everything off at the ground, and I'll wind the vines up and use them for baskets. And then we'll just start from nothing next year, whatever comes up, and then we'll deal with it. I don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah, that's the problem. You have competition for all the fruit you grow.
Maybe if I put wires in a circle, I could have 3 wires, and the grapes could go in a circle around the whole area.
I don't know. Like the raccoons are pretty smart, and they will get around anything.
And even if it's
unless you spend thousands of dollars, you go through anything.
Even if you have it going up and over a trellis and hanging there, I mean, they've been eating the wild grapes. I mean, all that this raccoon poop everywhere is all full of grapes.
Yeah.
So they certainly are able to get grapes wherever they will grow. So I think as long as I have raccoons, I'm not going to have grapes. However, if I put a proper fence that was like a pig fence, and I dug the bottom of it down into the ground, and then leave an opening and make a door, I could have a place that the raccoons can climb up something like that.
Oh yeah, easily. I've seen raccoons halfway up the wall here.
Right, I forgot that.
Anyway,
I'm trying to think of something, a way to cage out the raccoons, but there really is no way.
We have to take into account the value for us in a food supply, as well as the cost and the labor involved. Okay, so you only get a few grapes every year. You don't get buckets full of grapes, and to spend a lot of money. You would have to spend a lot of money to get it raccoon proof. So I don't think it's worth it. So
the grapes are a no-go.
I would reluctantly say, yeah, unless you want to grow them indoors, but then you need a lot of space for them too.
I don't know if that's even possible.
Mm. No, I think the main staples were going to have to be potatoes and sunchokes,
Okay.
and that you can
And fiddleheads.
fiddleheads, yeah,
Fiddleheads are quite starchy
yeah,
vegetable, you know.
starch, not much starch, I think, but a lot of nutrients.
Yeah, they're
Fiddlehead,
very thick. They're very.
fiddleheads and nettles is probably together is good enough to for the nutrients for us, and they take care of themselves, right?
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah,
That's really cool. And then if we can establish a patch of sunchokes through some artichokes,
yeah,
that will continually feed us.
yeah.
And supposedly it's supposed to take over. So that must mean that it's able to outproduce what the deer will eat.
Um,
I mean, we're at the beginning stages. You know,
yeah.
once you've got a huge field of it,
Well, the problem is
how
like
big
I
does the
started
field have to
I
be?
started I started those sunchoke patches on the island, and at the end of the season there was nothing left. The deer ate it all, and I don't think it came back. I can check and see if any came back, but I doubt it. So once you've established, maybe, but you're not gonna. If the deer continually eat those plants, you're not gonna be an abundant crop. So for the time being, I think we should protect them.
Now, what kind of terrain do sunchokes like?
Pretty well anything.
How
The,
about the
the, the, only,
island?
the only thing that they can't be at is wet and soggy ground. So the middle of the island they wouldn't
But
thrive.
they could grow on the edges. They could grow
Yeah,
around the rim.
they could grow on the rim, and I started at it, and it didn't work
Oh,
because of the deer.
serious.
The deer. Once the deer discovered them, they were all gone. I think I got one season out of them when they hadn't discovered them, but now that I know and I'm just gonna check for it every year. I think, yeah. So they can do it, but we'll have to protect them again.
Well, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
So what else is there here? There are,
Well, you have elderberries.
yes, so that's our fruit. If I can process elderberries. Now, I have to use honey and vinegar. Now, I'm not sure about making vinegar. I could make apple cider vinegar from apple cider. So if I pressed apples, I could make apple cider. And then if I,
Yeah, you need a lot of apples. Like when you made them, you just before you married,
50 feed bags full.
50 feedbacks.
I took them all to Wellesley, and they put them through their great big press. They've got these two stones, and they press the apple. I think something, I can't remember. Maybe that wasn't right, but anyway, they have this huge machine, and they have to walk around this and turn it. You know,
Very interesting.
it's
Yeah.
an old wooden thing, big old wooden handle and such, and um, and it comes down and it presses them, and then it gathers all the juice up, and you get fresh apple cider, and you have now 24 hours. In 24 hours, it will turn to vinegar.
And what do you do then? You have to freeze it. What do you froze it? The apple cider.
If you freeze it, yes, it's very dark, and you freeze it, and it's fine. I remember opening jars of frozen apple cider vinegar, big gallon jars,
Uh-huh.
and scraping it with my spoon, and it would be so good. It's like popsicles. It's really good in the freezer. But most of it, then I took it in and I heated it. I would put a big pail, a pan or pot, a big pot on the stove, and I would pour in as much apple cider as it would hold, and then I would turn the burner on high, and I had 4 of them going at a time, and the biggest pots I could fit on my stove, and And then when one of them, the steam would start to come off, as soon as the steam would start to come off, I would take it off the burner and I would pour it into my, or I would have to ladle it. I would ladle it into my jars, and it wasn't boiling. It never boiled. It just came to a certain point where once the steam came off of it, then it was ready. It was not going to turn to vinegar.
Oh, I see.
So then, and then I could put it in a. I could just leave it on the counter for a while, but it would eventually turn bad, I guess. But it was. I wanted to have a year's supply of stuff to drink. That was my goal, and that's how I ended up with 200 gallons of apple cider.
Nice. Yeah.
What an interesting thing to have thought of doing.
Mm-hmm.
I remember we used.
Well, we have water to drink, but we see a supply of food that you can
and juice to give to the kids.
Yeah.
You couldn't get orange juice, but you could make apple cider from the apples that grow all over the north. They're on every fence row has apple trees.
Uh-huh.
Not so much where it's all forest, but fence rows.
So what about you do with apples? That you check every apple to see if it has bad spots on it or the half.
No, that's the beauty of apple cider is you don't have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
When you're gathering the apples, you don't have to take the ones that have worms in them. If you think you've got a rotten spot with a wormhole, I wouldn't put that in. But if they're just bruised or
Mm-hmm.
turning brown on spots, there's a different color brown when it's going bad and when it's just from being bruised.
Yeah.
And when they're bruised, they're much sweeter.
Mm.
And when you select your trees, some of the trees are going to be sour, and some are going to be really sweet,
Mm-hmm.
like russets. Really, well, I don't know if
Russet, like potatoes? No.
russet apples. Yeah.
Oh, you do have russet apples as
Yeah,
well as russet potatoes.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay.
There's so many kinds of apples here. There's Saint Lawrence and I don't know. I remember being taught at some point the names of all these types of apples that I was collecting, or what the trees were. But anyway, so you have to know your apples ahead of time. You have to taste them, and you're not going to put all the sour apples in
together.
Yeah, you want to make sure you've got a balance, so it's nice.
Lots of bee activity going on here, and what?
It's because I look like a flower. You'll figure it out, just like the poor lady, showy lady slipper orchids. Remember them?
Oh, yes. Remember as we went in there and I had to back up the van in there by gravity because there's no reverse gear.
Not every car has reverse,
That's right. went up to the entrance and just in and out a little bit and put it in neutral and steered away. That was fun.
You did good. Yeah, those were the days. You remember the cars? Remember Firefly?
Oh, yes.
You called it chemical warfare?
No, you called it chemical warfare.
No, you did. Oh, did I?
I think so, yeah. But that was
it was quite the car.
Yeah, and oh gosh, yeah. Should we admit all these things on public so that we can be charged?
I think we shouldn't. No. No, but it had problems.
Yeah.
And it was the only car I ever took to the dump that still ran, or got rid of, that still worked.
Yeah.
But it was a danger.
Yeah, it was getting bad. Yeah, it's still there.
Wow, that was dramatic.
Well, it's one of the last sunny days, you know, and you need to get all the activity together, whatever they have to gather.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I can put this on. This is a very long piece. This is really fun, Willem.
Yeah. Okay, so as long as you were sitting there, I cannot really do the wood because I can't just pass there.
How about if I move this?
And the violin, it might just be enough, yeah?
There we go.
All right, I'll give it a whirl.
You know, some people call it a something disturber. But never mind. Look at it, it's working, Willem.
Yeah, well, whatever you say, I just
Uh-oh.
wonder with amazement and lack of understanding.
Amazement and lack
I'm
of
gonna grab my hat.
Maybe that's how my viewers feel. I don't think it's staying together. I think they're falling apart. So I'll just leave that alone. So I will add more. I do like doing this. This is kind of neat. So this is gonna be like one layer in my loom. And then you bring the beater back, right? And you smash it. You beat it. So I guess none of them all are going to stay together. Roll rags are rather short, aren't they? And they don't seem to want to stay together. See, I put that and that together and nothing is happening. Ah, but what if, let me come to the bottom, and now I open this up, and then I put this in the middle, I pinch it, and I bring it through, and now it's in the middle of the end. Haha, I think I have done that. Probably is a technique that is well and truly known. But I have to that didn't work anyway. I always have to reinvent the wheel. Okay, so I guess I could go down there and put that on the teepee. Wouldn't that be exciting? For the last 2 days I've been having campfires down there. Yeah, that's where I've been. That's why you haven't heard from me lately. I've been down there all day until the bus comes. So from like 9 o'clock to 4:30 or so. Should I hurry and go down there? That's a lot of grass I've got down there, you know. That's a whole lot of grass. 11 armfuls? That's a lot. So, like, usually I was working with maybe 3 or 4 armfuls. Would climb up on, oh, I had the best time ever. I would climb up on the teepee, and I would bring the grass, and I would lay it down on, you know, half on the grass lower and on the roof, and then I got to the top of, I got up and I was done at the top. I stuck it in between all of the big tops of the teepee poles, and um, then I turned around on the ladder and I leaned back because the ladder is on the teepee, laying on this nice soft teepee, and I leaned back on it, and it was so soft, and the sky was so pretty, and I just lay there. I guess I was sitting on the top rung, but it was so awesome. I'm not sure how to do this anymore, where to put this. I'm kind of afraid of it getting messed up. It's just all falling apart. Maybe I'm expecting too much of it. I'm expecting it to handle too much weight. But see, if I were spinning it, it wouldn't fall apart, right? Like, that's the thing about spinning. That's why spinning works. It keeps it from falling apart. And that's how you make yarn. This is the most soft wool I've ever had. This is alpaca. And I was blessed with it. I was gifted it for free. Awesome. This is very expensive wool. You have to buy it. Which so I would never buy it, and so I never have it. But this is awesome. Hi, Harry. Hi. It's okay. Hi. There you are. Hello. Hello, chickadee. Scout. Hi, that's Scout. He's here. He's always first. Nobody else is here. He's the only chickadee. His name is Scout. And then in a moment, he will start telling everybody in the world that he's got this awesome stash. Chickadee dee dee dee. Dee 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 dee. And once they start doing that, everybody else hears and they come. Chickadee dee dee dee. Dee dee. Dee 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 dee. Dee 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 dee. And so now we have 2 chickadees. Chickadee dee dee dee. Dee 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 dee. Chickadee. Now we have 3. Oh no, that was Harry. That is a very nice thing to do, Willem. Oh yes, my hurry in doing what I'm going to do is that I lose energy, for one thing. I've only got energy till maybe noon or 2. And it's a beautiful day. And the kids really don't need me right now at all. So it's a perfect time. And Willem's here. And that's the thing about being retired. Is if you want to build a teepee and you want to cover it with grass, you want to have a grass hut, you can. You can do this at home. Results may differ. Results do differ. Oh, somebody said, what was that? It's not showing. Oh, wait, here it is. Hold on. Okay. That. But we had our prayer. Then everybody was gone. Oh well. Pray anyway. I love praying. I'm really connected when I pray. I feel like, I just feel it's so right. It's so true. I love praying. And I pray a lot. Like, I'll just say, let's have a prayer. I like that. Just being able to just pray anytime. About anything. And when I pray, it's not that I pray and I'm going to get what I want. That's not what praying is about. Praying is about being able to be heard is one thing. You know, I just say what I want to say and he hears me. But it also makes me realize that he's listening. You know, I used to think, well, what's the point in praying? Because if he knows everything anyway, why do you want to tell him everything? I guess because when we tell him everything, we can then listen to ourselves and learn what we're saying and see ourselves and see what we are interested in and what kind of a person are we really. You know, we can look at ourselves as we're doing that. And also, because when we tell him about stuff, our view of it changes. You know, like if I tell what would I tell? If I tell somebody, oh my gosh, the wall leaks. Oh no, we're gonna have this black mold. Blah blah blah. You know, if I tell somebody like that, they say, oh dear, oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. But when you tell the Lord, you think, yeah, so I've got this trial going on. I've got black mold, or I've got a leak in the wall, um, and you see it differently. You see it from his point of view when you talk to him about it. You no longer really see it just from your point of view. You're noticing him listening to you, and you're hearing what you're saying. Does that make sense? This is the way to do it. Just do it from a few rollags at the same time. And then it's not ending. It's all feeding into each other. Your source keeps coming and your roving keeps growing. This is a much better way. I'm so glad I realized this. Oops. Just broke it off. Oops. There are some problems with this. I have to get down there and do this. This is a beautiful day. What's the time? 10:30. So I worked from 6:30 until, what time was it? 8:30. Something like that. So for 2 hours I cut grass to 8:30. Now it's 10:30. So for 2 hours I've been just doing this and whatever with the kids. And so 10:30. So now if I go down there, I don't know how long I'll be down there. Maybe an hour. Maybe it won't take long at all. Yeah, really. Depends how tired I get. Because that's what really takes the most time is the resting. And and when I was up on the top of the ladder yesterday, leaning against the teepee, I put my hand in it, and what was in my pocket? Lo and behold, a bottle of bubbles. And so I just proceeded to blow bubbles. And the traffic would come by, and there'd be all these cars, and I'm up there laying against the teepee, blowing bubbles. And I could put my arms behind me, and I could hold all the poles. I would hold the poles for a while, and let it stretch the muscles in my back out, and I just feel my back relax. Hi, Willem, you've done another job.
In just a minute here.
Okay.
You find a scoop.
I guess we've kind of used up this area, haven't we? There we go. This is really quite delightful to do this. And I'm not hurting my back. And then I'm going to go weave. Maya and Desmond have not seen me weave. Not for years. I don't think. Maybe they have. I'm probably joking. But it's probably been a long time. They probably don't really know. When I was little, I don't know if I was Maya's age or Desmond's age, and my grandmother had a loom in her basement. And I would go down there and sit at the loom, and she had this big yarn. It was rug yarn. And so I made a rug. I was able to weave and weave, and I must have made my whole rug, and then they took the rug off, and then Cynthia made hers. I had thought that we were sort of weaving simultaneously, but we couldn't have, because unless she had two looms. Did she have two looms? Yes, she did. I have one of her looms, and Heather has the other one. Or Celinda does. Yes, indeed. Hey, look at that. I'm at the end. Ta-da. Maybe I'll just leave it on the end. Then I'll know where to find it. Okay. Wow. That was a long roving. I hope it doesn't all fall apart. Well, I guess it's time to go down there and do the grass. I've certainly enjoyed my time with you. I hope you've enjoyed my time with me, your time with me as well. I can't wait to get that grass onto the teepee. I love doing that. I love taking a bunch and turning it and straightening it and then leaning it against the teepee and then taking another bunch. Sometimes I put it across the ladder, and the ladder's on this angle, right? Maybe that angle. No, about that angle. So I put it on the ladder, and I push it up. As I walk up the ladder, I'm leaning against the first two rungs, and I'm pushing it up. And I shove it up, and then I'll step up. So I'll keep climbing the ladder with it. Then I'll stop and I'll take a bundle and get it loose from everything, and then I'll lay it down and do them in a, a few of them in a row, just layering it. It's such a really fulfilling thing to do. You really have a feeling of accomplishment, especially when you go inside and it's dark. It's really getting dark in there now. Maybe I should go in and look out and see what's left that's light, where the light is still coming in. Gonna have to have lanterns in there again. That can be done. I use these little battery lanterns. Sometimes I light little tea light candles. And they're in these containers. They're pretty safe. As far as if you're gonna have a fire in a place like a grass hut. I think we had a lantern in our grass hut in Jamaica. I lived there for 6 months. I was 17. It's quite an interesting experience. Wow, I've never had a nuthatch come that close to me. Just 2 feet away. I have all this fleece ready. I could go weaving. I think I'm going to go tell tell the children, and I'll go down there. Now all I have to do is make myself do it. All right, Nancy, one foot in front of the other. But you see, you're holding back. I can't go while you're here. But I guess I'll just go anyway. So I hope everything is going to go well for you today. Love you guys. Thumbs up and subscribe. Bye. Where's that X?